Hello, and welcome back to the Natural Wellness Tips podcast. This is your host, Dr. Jennifer Shaw. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. And I wanted to have a conversation about being intentional with you. It's something I've been working on more in my life, and I always love to share that journey with you guys, right? So we spend so much of our lives doing, being busy, running from here to there, checking off our to-do list, just basically moving through life on autopilot. Does the same thing, we do the same thing over and over again, almost like we're robots. It's like we just rinse, recycle, repeat, rinse, recycle, repeat. Like maybe you feel me on this. Have you ever been really in that mode where you get through the day, you get to the end of the day, and you're like, okay, I know I went to work. I know I did my errands and things, but I don't remember, anybody's faces I saw. I don't remember if the sun was shining or if it was raining. I don't remember the details. I only remember the doing. And when we live like that, it's so exhausting. We just never feel like we can take a break. It's just overwhelming, time consuming, busy, 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 heavy days. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about, right? I have been focusing more really over the last 3 years, more specifically over the last year, on being intentional. I'm more intentional with my time, my energy, my actions, my words, my social media posts, my collaborations, my movements. You guys, I'm working on a really amazing 4-hour workshop that I'm going to be doing here in San Diego with someone that's going to lead into a 3-day event that we're doing. We're going to do multiple 4-hour workshops. And I have taken so much time to ensure that what I am partnering in is going to add value for my community, is aligned with my one big thing of helping people get essential oils in their home, of helping people live a non-toxic lifestyle, right? I have put so much intention into this practice and this decision that I know it's aligned. Whereas in the past, I'd often say yes to so many shiny things because they sounded cool. But looking back, they didn't really align with what I was doing and how I was showing up and who I was serving. And that is the key for me is I am trying to be so intentional with all of these things: time, energy, action, words, social media, friendships, collaborations, movement. All the things I do need to have intention behind them. So what is intention? Intention by definition means want one intends to do or bring about, a determination to act in a certain way or resolve. So when I think of this definition, I think of intentional action as action with a goal in mind. So oftentimes in my yoga class, I offer my students a chance to set an intention for their class. Why did they show up on their mat today? What is their goal for this hour? And it helps people pause and just take that second to figure out, why are they on that mat? And I often remind my students that yoga is not a punishment for eating too much or, not working out enough, right? Yoga is a gift. Movement's a gift. Our bodies are gifts, right? So are you here to slow down? Are you stepping on your mat to be present? Are you stepping on your mat because your heart is heavy for someone in your life and you want to send them love? What brought you to your mat, and what are you going to be thinking through, loving through, and sharing with the world over the next hour as you focus in on this practice, right? So why do we do this or why do we not do this, right? In all areas of our lives? Like, why do we do this on our yoga mat? Why is this something that was taught on my yoga mat, but took me so long to take off my yoga mat, right? So, for instance, here's kind of like a funny little example, but I think this is going to make the point for you. We often call our friends and families just out of routine. Like we have a certain friend we call when we're in the car or on the way home from work or whatever it be. And when we do that out of routine, like we don't really necessarily have an intention for the call. And I often found that when I made those phone calls, they ended up being like a bitch session or just simply filling time. So getting clear on that intention behind your call can be so powerful, and it can make such a shift in the energy of that phone call. So maybe the intention is to share a story, to ask guidance, to check in on a situation that they've been dealing with. Maybe it's to express gratitude or love, or just maybe it's to simply connect, right? And that's okay. It's okay if it's that simple, but if it's done with intention, the energy of that call is so much different. So basically, what I'm saying is before you make that phone call, before you have that conversation, book that work event, before you say yes to that situation, pause and create clarity on the intention for that conversation, for that upcoming event. When we act with intention, we use our control, our decisions to create the life that we want. Being intentional helps us move forward, achieve goals, and improve the quality of our lives. When we are intentional, our lives are being cultivated through our conscious thoughts, right? Through our actions that we are putting effort behind. It is not just through robot root memory, root action, right? When we have intention, we are creating with purpose. We are creating our life with purpose, right? So one thing I've noticed that I do very frequently is I try to beat the clock. I try to beat the clock, and no matter what is going on, even when it's not important. So, for instance, on a day off, I'll stress myself out about how long errands are taking or the wait is at a restaurant, because in my head, I've already decided that I'm going to get to the beach at a certain time or the climbing gym by a certain time. Not because I have any true set in stone obligations or, if I don't get to the beach by 2 o'clock, the beach closes. That's not true. The beach is open, right? So, why am I in this mental pattern to rush and feel like I need to beat the clock? And when you think about it and you think about growing up, like we had to get to school at a certain time and in our class at a certain time and the bell rang and we had a certain amount of time to get to our next class and and you had to get to cheer practice at a certain time. And, if you were late, you had to do burpees or whatever it be. Like everything was always like, be here on time. And yes, I'm a timely person. I'm from the East Coast. So to me, on time is late, 15 minutes early is on time, on late is unacceptable. That's how I rule. Like that is my functioning. So I'm not saying when there's an obligation, just like take your time and be willy-nilly. Like I'm saying literally like on your day off, can you breathe a little bit more? Can you be present with those around you? Just because you are in that moment and you have this precious time with these people instead of rushing to beat some imaginary clock, right? And it's just this battle I've had my whole life, and I'm just recently realizing it. And thankfully, a lot of the support has been from my amazing boyfriend. Oh, and like kind of helping me recognize this pattern and saying to me in certain times, hey, trying to beat the clock? And I'll be like, oh my God, I am trying to beat the clock. I don't know what clock, because there's no clock. Like this is literally last night. We were climbing with friends and I was like, do you know what time it is? And he's like, does it matter? And I was like, no, it really doesn't matter. And he's like, don't you think we'll get tired before it's like too late anyway? Well, we're fine. He's like, are you having fun? Are you feeling good? And I was like, yeah, I'm great. He's like, so the time doesn't matter, right? And I was like, No, it really doesn't. And I took a deep breath and I just enjoyed the rest of my climb so much more because I was present, because I wasn't like, oh God, it's already this time. And I still have to do X, Y, Z. Like none of that was going on because I was in the now, right? And when you can shift into that now, oh, it is such a powerful thing. I mean, literally in the words of Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. If you haven't read his book, it's a great book. It's helping you kind of get into this moment because the past is a memory, the future is a fallacy. All we have is the present. So we need to just be in this moment. So this idea of being intentional in your day in life can be a little overwhelming, right? It's like, it's real easy to go down this slippery slope of like, I need to carry this over into all areas of my life. And this is overwhelming. So I'm going to paralyze and I'm not going to do anything. Well, don't do that. Don't do that. But instead, get really clear on one area that you can be more intentional with within your day. Pick one area to start and get really clear on it. Where would you benefit from less doing and more intention? So I shared with you mine. Mine is about when it is appropriate, letting go of the clock, not beating the clock, right? I don't need to be in a race against time. And when I can release that, it brings so much peace to areas of my life, all areas of my life. So maybe for you, it's something like that where you're getting more intentional around your time. Maybe it's around your words, the words you speak to yourself or to others. Maybe you want to get more intentional about that. You know, when we shift what we say, so much changes about our energy. So, for instance, when we say something like, I have to go clean up after dinner, it sounds like you're in trouble, right? But when you shift it and say, I get to go clean up after dinner because I'm here, because I just enjoyed a delicious meal with my family, with my friends. I get to. That's so powerful. So maybe you want to be a little more intentional with your words. Maybe you want to be more intentional with your actions. When, we often think in relationships that things will shift if somebody else has changes their behavior. But what is interesting is we don't have any control over others' behavior. We have control over our behavior. And when we make a shift in our behavior, in our actions, oftentimes other people shift their actions, right? So is there a relationship where you want your actions to be a little more intentional in your work, right? Like one of the statements that I'm using right now to kind of keep myself motivated and keep myself in the right direction of what I'm doing for my work is the law of value from this awesome book, The Go-Giver, right? So out of this book, he talks about these 5 laws. And I'm focusing right now on the law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And the idea here is to give in value in all areas of my life, right? So I'm being intentional about what I share and when I share and the energy in which I share it with, not oh crap, I've got to go do that. It's, oh, I get to share this with my community. I get to post this YouTube video. I hope that people enjoy this recipe. I'm so excited to hear what people think, right? I get to make these shifts, right? So where can you be more intentional? Maybe it's with movement. Right now, are you exercising to punish yourself? Or can you shift that to finding gratitude for your physical body and all that it can provide for you, right? So where can you be more intentional? I want you to find one area and I want you to hone in on that and get really clear. Now, one of the things that helps me when I'm trying to make these shifts is to let people in my life know I'm trying to get intentional about not beating the clock, right? So my boyfriend knows that, and my boyfriend knows he's helping me and giving me the little loving nudges when he sees me or catches me beating the clock, the imaginary clock that I have going in my head, right? So get some accountability in that, talk to people about it, and be really thoughtful of it, right? Like that's the point of being intentional, is like reassessing it and looking back and seeing how it's going, right? So the other thing that I want you to do is when you catch yourself in this go 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 of your busy life, I want you to pause, and if you have oils, grab an oil. If you don't have oils, I don't know what you're waiting for. Do the 5-day oil experience. I'll post the link below. I'll tell you more about it in a second, but preferably grab something grounding. And I want you to take a few deep breaths. Bonus points if you can go outside, get your feet in the ground, but that's not always the case, right? And then I want you to ask yourself, how can I be more intentional, more present, more thoughtful in this action I am about to take? So, two of my favorite oils for this are Balance and Anchor. So, Balance is the grounding blend. It is a mixture of roots and tree oils. And Balance really is about living in the present moment with your feet firmly planted on the ground. I put this oil on the bottoms of my feet every single morning. Then you have Anchor. Anchor is part of the yoga collection. The yoga collection is 3 essential oils: Anchor, Align, and Arise. And this is called the steadying blend. Oh, I love this one. I used it this morning in my yoga practice. And Anchor is about helping you find calm, feel present, and feel supported. Okay, so this is such a great oil to lean into when you feel like you're do, go, 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 and you need to drop in to that presence, to that intention, to that intentional action. Okay, so you could just take a drop of one of the oils, put it in your hand, breathe it in, find the presence. There's no better way to be present than to pay attention to your breath, to your breathing, to your lungs. So this quote from John C. Maxwell, I love it. An unintentional life accepts everything and does nothing. An intentional life embraces only the things that will add to the mission of significance. So when he says significance, I think that might scare a few people, that statement. What I want you to think of that is being the best partner you can, being the best you can for yourself, being the best mother or father you can, being the best sibling, child, parent you can, being the best at your work that you can. Like, it's significance in all areas of your life. Like, how can you be a person that when you walk out of the room, people say, man, I love their energy, I love their presence? That's the significance he's talking about, right? So find that area, create more intention around it, create a goal, a reason for the behaviors you're doing, for the actions you're taking, right? Get really, really clear on that. And just start by focusing in that one area. Now, guys, I talk about essential oils in each and every one of my episodes. And if you guys haven't tried essential oils yet, what are you waiting for? I have my 5-day oil experience. You get 6 samples for just $10 and my guidance for 5 days. I walk you through via text message to support you in using those 6 samples. If at the end you're like, wow, these sucked, I hated them, I'll give you your $10 back. And if you like them, we get to hop on a phone call and we get to talk about your experience and see if putting some essential oils into your life is the right fit for you. It is a zero risk $10 experience, guys. So check it out. The link is below. Find an area in your life. I want to hear about it. Come over to Instagram, say hello, Natural Wellness Tips, and let me know. Drop into my DMs and let me know what you are getting intentional about. I want to cheer you on. I want to support you. So come say hi, let me know, and let's be intentional together. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will catch you guys next time on the Natural Wellness Tips podcast. Namaste.